Madam Speaker, listening to commentary both inside and outside of this place, it took me firstly to Act 1, Scene 3 of The Merchant of Venice, when Antonio, in talking to Bassanio, and this is just reflections, Madam Speaker, said this: mark you this, Bassanio, the devil can cite scripture for his purpose. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten at the heart. Oh, what goodly outside falsehood hath. And I just thought about that in the context of everything I'm hearing, Madam Speaker. That just came to my mind. Because the Honourable Member for Oropouche East repeated the untruth that the Procurement Amendment Bill, and I'm just responding to what he said for the second time, was passed by a majority of 1 vote. That is not true. And I want to reject that untruth again. It was 16-6 with a margin of 10 votes, Madam Speaker. Not 1, 10. Now let's deal with some other matters. The member for Oropouche East fell into grave error because, firstly, in his attempt to fool people, that's an unparliamentary word, to mislead people into believing that procurement of matters relating to national security would be secret, and that was his theme, Madam Speaker, that because the amendment in big A, 5 big A, small a, 5 subsection 3 shall not apply to reports regarding matters of national security. He zeroed in on that amendment and said essentially that when matters of national security, goods and services are being procured, they will all be secret. And of course he accused we on this side of running a secret government and wanting to hide, and we will use government-to-government agreements to procure national security items, and so we will hide. I want to indicate, Madam Speaker, that this amendment is entirely consistent with a number of sections in the Parent Act, which all give non-disclosure provisions for matters of national security. Section 27, Section 39, Section 52 of the Parent Act, passed by the UNC in this Parliament in 2015, Madam Speaker. 27.4 prohibits publication of planned procurement activities if they relate to matters of national security. Section 39 creates a system of non-disclosure with respect to tenders for matters of national security. And Section 52 of the Parent Act, passed by the UNC, passed by that same Honourable Member for Oropouche East, with much gusto, prohibits public hearings into matters of procurement for national security. So this amendment follows a theme, a well-entrenched theme, presented to this Parliament, argued in this Parliament, approved in this Parliament by every single member on the UNC bench, Madam Speaker. So it is political hypocrisy for the member for Oropouche East to come into the Parliament today and pretend that they did not pass an act, the act that exempts matters of national security from publication, and all it is doing is exempting it from publication. That's all. It does not exempt matters of national security from interrogation by the Office of the Procurement Regulator. That is the fallacy that they want to put outside there. It's a tissue of untruths, Madam Speaker. A tissue. Another untruth put on the public record today by the member for Oropouche East is that there'll be billions and billions of dollars of procurement in national security, and as a result, he cannot support this amendment which says that compliance report on matters relating to national security should not be published. He can't support that, but he could support Section 27, Section 39, Section 52 of the Parent Act, which he brought into this Parliament, which all exempted disclosure of matters of national security. But in his tirade, Madam Speaker, he said billions and billions and billions of dollars will be procured in national security in secret. Madam Speaker, the vast majority of expenditure in the Ministry of National Security and in the security services is for wages and salaries. We all know that. 90% of the budget for national security is wages and salaries, not goods and services. So I just want to put that to rest as well. It is also absurd for the Honourable Member for Oropouche East to castigate us and tell us that we are duty-bound to give opposition members sensitive services for this government. It's absurd. No one in their right mind will do that. The Honourable Member also said, insinuated, implied, that the proposed amendment, debt financing services for the national budget, was payback. And that's the kind of vicious untruth that the member for Oropouche East is always putting into the parliamentary record. How on God's name could financing for the national budget be payback? Payback to who? Republic Bank? Royal Bank? The Andean Development Bank? The World Bank? The Inter-American Development Bank? Payback? It's this. Look, don't let me say something bad, Madam Speaker, here today. Don't let me say something bad here today. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Whenever that honourable member speaks, the things that he says, vicious untruths. And then this nonsense about the housing contract with the Chinese contractor was government to government. It was not. It was not. It had no involvement of the government whatsoever. It was a contract between the HTC and a private contractor. Had nothing to do with the government. Absolutely nothing. It was not government to government. It does not fall under any of the amendments here, Madam Speaker. That is a vicious untruth. Now, with respect to the point made for the Honourable Member for Barataria, the only point he made was a typographical error in Big B. And Madam Speaker, what the Honourable Member forgot to say, or probably doesn't even know, because what I find about honourable members opposite, they don't pay attention, they don't read, they don't watch anything, they don't learn anything. This amendment, Madam Speaker, 5 Big B, was proposed by an independent senator, not by the government. This amendment that the minister shall submit to the office annual guidelines which outline the circumstances under which exempted services may be procured, was proposed by an independent senator. And it was proposed, Madam Speaker, in the context of another amendment proposed by the government, where we created renumbering of subsection 5 and subsection 6 and so on. And these two sets of amendments were taken together in the other place. And it is simply a typographical error, Madam Speaker, that the 5 was not changed to 6. And I will expect that the Chief Parliamentary Council, the Law Revision Commission, the Parliament will deal with that. And if it needs to be addressed in another forum, we will do so. But it is simply arising from a proposal made by an independent senator, and the renumbering was not done. So therefore, that statement from the member for Barataria really is without any merit, Madam Speaker. So there is nothing I heard opposite that assists us in any way. Nothing I heard opposite that assists us in any way. Let me repeat that the proposed amendment to Clause 5 that reads subsection 3 shall not apply to reports regarding matters of national security is consistent with sections of the Parent Act which have already received universal approbation by the Office of the Procurement Regulator and all of civil society. They all agreed with Section 27, Section 39, and Section 52 of the Parent Act, which prohibit disclosure of sensitive matters relating to national security. And therefore, there is nothing sinister or bizarre about this amendment. And I close by saying, Madam Speaker, that another thing that came to mind, Madam Speaker, is a particular character that finds his way. As I was thinking about that quotation from Shakespeare in Act 1, Scene 3, my mind also went to the dictionary to look at a famous character in medieval times, a jester. And I just read up here that King James of Scotland employed a jester called Archibald. And Archibald was eventually thrown out of the king's employment when he overreached and insulted too many people. So in listening to honourable members opposite, Madam Speaker, those two quotations came to mind. I beg to move.